21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
What you're doing is fantastic. I watched a lot of your podcasts and I learned a lot. I was fascinated with the kind of connection between entrepreneurship and being a real person and kind of showing up as who you are to do your best work, which is very similar to all of the ACE work, all the Enlighten work, all the True Say work we do, which is figuring out how to resolve the root causes that are holding you back. From being the whole, total, healthy, happy you. And it's the only course or program that helps people get to the root cause and resolve them. All of the other programs, well-meaning like NLP, they're putting Band-Aids on broken bones. And they're not getting to the root causes, which for us is the most important thing, because then the healing and resolving flows really beautifully, like what you said you did after, your father passed. When you did the right work at the right time for the right reasons, you grew and you worked through a lot of the shit, as you said, that you hadn't worked on, because like you, Martin, most people repress, internalize, don't deal, because they don't believe there's really any answers. They don't take the time to do it. They build their outside success and just ignore the inside. And then all of a sudden they turn 40, 50, 60, 70, and they go, oh my God, I'm empty inside. Now what do I do? I thought making money and having a successful business would make me happy. Well, you took care of half of your life. The outside part's very important, but you completely skipped the inside. Now you have to start at the beginning, but there are answers and they do work, and they're science-backed, clinically proven, with hundreds of thousands, now millions of people, all available to people right here, right now. And that's why we're doing this. Just to be clear, though, there is no destroying, there is no getting rid of, there's adding on. Think of this, Martin, rings of a tree. You still have the 1-year-old you inside, the 5-year-old you, the 20-year-old you, the 25. You have all the rings of the tree, everybody does, of all the years of their life. So people that think that they can cut the tree in half, dig out the rainy, drought, difficult, traumatic, stressful years, and glue the tree back together, guess what? It doesn't work. Same with us. The present self, the present us, has to learn exact techniques for being able to take care of, support the ego, the 1-year-old, the 5-year-old, the 20-year-old, so we can be the present ring of the tree, but we are all the rings of the tree. We're the whole me, the whole you, the whole tree, the whole us. And it makes no sense whether you follow this program, that treatment, that therapy, that psychology, to think that you can get rid of any of the ages or stages you've been through, or your ego, or your critic, or your judge, or you're never satisfied, or you're perfectionist. They all have lifetime memberships like rings of the tree. So you learn to support, take care of, trust, listen to, dialogue, and basically support to grow, to be the deepest roots and the highest branches and have the best fruit on a daily basis, because you end up integrating this into your daily life. I was born missing part of my back, part of L4 and L5. So I had chronic pain as a kid growing up, and I still participated to the best of my ability in sports. I still participated in school activities to the best of my ability, but I had chronic pain, and it really had an impact. Anybody that has pain knows it becomes a full-time job. You always have to be concerned. Can I do this? Can I not do that? Will I be okay? You're seeing doctors, you're getting medication. Usually they help a little bit and then they stop helping. You see a lot of different kinds of doctors, from chiropractor to physical therapist to functional medical doctors, so many different doctors. And some of them help a little bit, some a little bit more than a little bit. But ultimately, the pain continues and the difficulties continue. And when I was at the last year of my college in Boston, and I was looking for the experts in the world of pain control, medicine, psychology, healthcare, wellness, spirituality, every area I could find, one person kept coming up. And his name, Milton Erickson, a medical doctor in Phoenix, Arizona. And Milton Erickson is really the godfather, grandfather, father of mind-body healing. What you mentioned, Martin, NLP really wanted him to help them. He had some of the challenges is that it was too much of a formula or public path, and he was all about individualizing the approach. So I wrote him a letter. I've read your articles. I've read everything you've written, and you are the authority in this field. And I would love it if I could train with you. Are you willing to take me on as a student? I'm 20 years old at the time. He writes me back a handwritten letter saying, if you get an MD degree or PhD degree in psychology, I'll take you on as a student. I wrote him back a handwritten letter. I don't really want to get an MD degree or PhD in psychology. I want to learn how to help myself and help other people. Fortunately for me, he wrote me back another handwritten letter. If you're willing to get an MD degree, a PhD. So needless to say, I moved from Boston to the West Coast. He was in Phoenix. I went and got my master's and PhD in San Diego, traveled back and forth to Phoenix for 4 years. He helped me write my first book, which is in many languages around the world, helped me get my first university teaching job, helped me finish my PhD dissertation, which was very challenging, all about how to personalize and individualize the treatment approaches to fit each person based on their culture, their background, their age, their stage, the challenges they have, whether it's biological, psychological, social. So a tremendous mentor. From there, I had an opportunity to work at Kaiser Permanente in San Diego, which is the world's largest nonprofit healthcare provider, seeing people who they called high utilizers. In other words, the people that were using the system, costing Kaiser a lot of money, but weren't getting better, and seeing doctors for 20 years or more. And so they would refer these people to me. And so I started seeing people individually in groups, training physicians, therapists, group facilitators. And I met a person at Kaiser who became another great friend, collaborator, mentor, medical doctor by the name of Vincent Folletti. He was starting to work on what he called the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, the ACE study. He brought me in to be the treatment solution director and founder for the ACE study at the very beginning, and I did that with him. We've been meeting on a weekly basis now for well over 25 years. In fact, I'm meeting with him again tomorrow, but we meet often. He helped me write my books, publish medical journal articles. We saw lots of groups, individuals, done a lot of training. He helped me with my app, Enlighten, helped me with my company, True Sage, the training programs. And so we've been collaborating. So I went from a great mentor of Dr. Erickson to another great mentor, both of whom turned out to be colleagues and friends, Dr. Vincent Folletti. And that brings me to, in the meantime, while I'm doing all of this, I wrote 15 books. The newest book comes out at Christmas time, and Dr. Folletti is an important part of this book, and it's called From Trauma to Enlightenment. And some people say, well, wow, how can you help people go from trauma, which is more than half of all adults in the world? You know, some people, the data, you know, it's whether it's $1 trillion a year business that, you know, a lot of this data will tell you. It's in every country of the world. Everyone will tell you there's trauma everywhere. But the problem is it's not the trauma, it's the untreated, unresolved trauma, like stress. It's not the stress, it's the untreated, unresolved. So For Dr. Folletti and for Kaiser and for all these people, I developed the treatment solutions that I train people with one-on-one, and I have in the app, and I have in the company available to people in courses. So that's quite a journey. But enlightenment may seem like that big stretch, Martin. And for all your viewers, how can you go from being traumatized? Because everyone's going to say, well, we have trauma in our family. I have had trauma. My mother had trauma. My father had trauma. My siblings, everybody's had trauma in our lives. And we just basically, agree that nice people don't talk about difficult things. So we never talk about them. And they become sort of secrets and hidden. And of course, that means you're repressing it into your body. And then it manifests with medical conditions. And we've had a lot of correlations, a lot of scientific studies correlating unresolved ACEs with cardiovascular disease, autoimmune illnesses, cancer, premature death by 19 years, addictions, depression, anxiety. So yes, everyone has trauma and stress, but they didn't usually start in adulthood. They almost always come from childhood that are unresolved. So we have the solutions that are science-backed and are evidence-based to help people help themselves, whether it's in groups, private training, one-on-one, in the app, so people can get the assessment, which is now in 100 countries. We added a positive childhood experiences assessment because people have positive as well as adverse. That's all available to everybody. This is proprietary. And we have a biopsychosocial assessment, which we've given to hundreds of thousands of people that have helped tremendously, and actually showed in one study by an independent researcher that medical visits were reduced by 35% in 1 year, emergency room visits by 11% a year, saving the payer, healthcare provider, billions of dollars in 1 year. This is all, it's mental health, but think of it as biopsychosocial health. So in all these books I have that are all translated, I got invited to teach in India because the people in India, these people that run ashrams, gurus, which is another word for teacher, read my technique. Can you come to India? Can you teach our meditators how to go deeper into meditation? So I said, yes, I will do that. I worked on it. I practiced it. I studied it. But I was interested to find out, was anybody really enlightened? That was my own mission. Because I could be enlightened for 15 minutes. I could be enlightened until something didn't really work out, but I couldn't hold it. So I thought, is anybody going to be like this all the time, 24/7, all the time? So I was really curious, because if there is, they live in India and they're gurus. So I studied and I learned and met people who were amazing, brilliant, wonderful, but I didn't meet anybody who was actually enlightened all the time. And people would say, well, you didn't meet my guru. Okay, so I went back and met more gurus, did more trainings, more programs. And then as I was leaving, and this brings us to the title of the book that's coming out, From Trauma to Enlightenment, the last person said, well, what do you think enlightenment is? And I said the same thing I said to you, Martin, and to your viewers and listeners, that being above it all, transcendent, always in the moment, always in the zone, able to deal with everything at any time, no matter what. He said, no, that's not what enlightenment is. I said, uh-oh. I've been here twice, I've been traveling, I've been writing, I've been working, uh-oh, what's coming next? He said, enlightenment is unconditional acceptance of yourself. And I said, wow. Well, I'd written 12 books by then. Well, that's what all 12 of my books teach. That's what the app that I've been building with Dr. Folletti from the Kaiser work, it's all about self-acceptance, unconditional self-acceptance. Interesting. So the name of the book became From Trauma to Enlightenment. The name of the app, I didn't want to call it Enlightenment because I knew people would think what I thought before I learned this. So we shortened it, made it Enlighten, ENLIGHTN.me, in the App Store and Google Play for people in businesses, universities, healthcare providers, payers, school systems, nonprofits. So that's how we go from trauma to enlightenment with this really evolved definition. And that's why the app is called Enlighten. And that's what I teach people when I train people one-on-one. And I only train a handful of people at a time because I'm very busy helping the world be a better place, getting the app out, getting these training programs out there. And people can reach out to me directly anytime. And I'm happy to either connect them with what we're doing or be a resource to help them, help themselves, their clients, their family members, because everybody has experienced difficult times, stress, traumas. It's impossible to get through life, especially nowadays. You think about people nowadays, it's a traumatic time to live in many ways. We added an ACE assessment for people that are 18 and older because not all ACEs happen between birth and 18, although most do. We added one for kids 5 to 13 and 13 to 18 so that they could answer the questions, kind of age appropriate type of wording. We did one for parents because parenting is a very difficult job. It's the most important job we realized in the ACE study because most traumas happen at home and most difficulties happen at home. So if we can teach parents how to be ACE preventing parents, it'll make a world of difference. So we have a whole parenting program, ACE preventing parents, and we know what causes ACEs as well. So we're doing our best to help each individual develop their inner potentials. I call it their inner doctor, and at the same time contribute to the world to make it a better place. I see a lot of entrepreneurs, from CEOs to coaches to owners of companies, teams from all around the world. And there is a similar challenge that they all have. And that is that they have spent their careers and their lives building their outer life, money, success, business, teams, structures, programs, products, services, and they have done very well with that half of their life, their outer life. I see them from all over the world. I have success. I have money. That was my mission. I wanted to have money where my family didn't have as much. I wanted to make it easier for my kids, for my life, for my partner's life. I wanted to make sure, I wanted to contribute, I want to make a difference, I want to help people. And they build these great businesses, very successful, get to the top, coaching other people oftentimes, and they completely ignore their inner life. So I oftentimes will say to these people, first things happen on the inside, then they happen on the outside, but they've been living their lives as first things happen on the outside, then they happen on the inside, and that is never true. The outer world will not help the inner world. So people turn 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and they say, oh my God, I've been ignoring my own self-care. I had issues with my father I never resolved. I had issues with myself that I never resolved. I've had difficulties. Now I'm facing, I hope I don't die young after all this. What about my longevity? Well, we have actual science showing that when you resolve and heal these issues, your longevity increases by as much as 19 years, where if you don't, you can lose 19 years of your life. So that's dramatic, probably the most dramatic data that anybody will ever get about longevity. You mean I can lose 19 years? Yes, we have science showing that. You mean I can gain 19 years? Yes, we have. Okay, so that's essential. But the big point is when you don't take care of your inner life, which is your emotional, psychological, physical life, the outer life, no matter how much money you have, and like I said, I work with very successful entrepreneurs, some billionaires that have it all on the outside, 5 houses, private plane, travel anywhere, people all around them, no matter, and miserable on the inside. Don't show it, but I know because they confide in me and they really are still a 6-year-old boy, a 13-year-old girl, still rings of the tree. They still have those years with unresolved life experiences that they still are struggling with. It's just now they've manifested to, I think there might be something wrong with my heart. I went to the emergency room. I thought I was having a heart attack. They told me, no, it's a panic attack, but make sure you start doing this, this, and this. Sort of the whole functional medicine approach, eat better, exercise more, have more social life. Well, you can tell people what they should do, but that has nothing to do with them actually doing it. In other words, it's not a lack of information. Obese people know what they should eat. People that are struggling with cancer, with autoimmune illnesses, with cardiovascular, with addictions, they know what they should do, but they can't get themselves to do what they know they should because they haven't resolved the root causes. So even knowing what to do isn't enough. You have to get to the root causes. It would be like if you're gardening and you've got weeds in the garden and you cut off the top of the weed just grows back. And they say, oh, well, I'm going to cut it off the stem. You cut the stem and it grows back. You have to get the weed out by the roots in order to stop that weed from growing. And it's the same with our life experiences, our life is. We've got to get to the root and heal and resolve and get it out at the roots. You can stop the way you think. Oh, that's the stem. I'm going to think positive. I'm going to think different. I'm going to take all these thinking workshops and events. We can think different all you want, and it's going to keep growing back. Well, I'm going to behave different. I'm going to change my schedule. I'm going to change my work. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to eat different. And you just try to change your behaviors, cut it off at the blossom. It's going to keep growing back. You have to resolve, whether it's biological, psychological, social, financial, family, relationships, business. You have to resolve things psychosocially. In other words, the holistic, wholehearted, the real, the total you. People go from awareness. Now, that's our Adverse Childhood Experiences Assessment, our ACE assessment, which is now in 100 countries. They can answer our PCE, our Positive Childhood Experiences Assessment, 12 questions. Both of them take 10 minutes to answer. Your inner lights will go on when you answer the questions. You still need to get to the treatment solution. Now that I've been diagnosed, now that I understand what went wrong, what do I do about it? Well, that's where we come in. That's the most important thing, is what's next. We heard that day after day at Kaiser. We hear it day after day with the app and at True Sage. You have to know what to do. And the most important thing is it has to be individualized to fit you as a person. There is no public path. There is no formula. There is no one size fits all. We've worked with identical twins that are very different. We work with siblings from the same family with the same parents that are very different. All of the solutions have to be individualized and be as unique as you are. Now, that's where our algorithm comes in our app. We know how to branch and tailor and adjust everything. Same with our courses, same with the books. You have to individualize it. So what does that mean? Well, you have to have the awareness. There's our assessments, and we have those, and they are best in class. They're used all around the world. Then you have to be able to accept what went wrong, your mother, your father, your siblings, your bullies, your life, your money, your challenge. You have to shift into acceptance. Acceptance is tough for people when it gets to the difficulties in life, but worst case scenario, they can accept that they can't accept it. And at least that opens the doors, because acceptance opens your mind. It opens your heart. It opens your body. So the bridge from awareness to acceptance is very significant, but that's not enough either. The next step is learning how to express and let go, release all of that. And people let go, they release, they do journaling, dominant hand, non-dominant hand, they do primal work, they do all of the different therapies. Everybody knows about them, from the EMDR to the NLP. So all the psychological approaches were very well-meaning, very helpful. Expressing is good, but expressing like awareness and acceptance is still not enough. Okay. Then we have to move into, and this is very counterintuitive, very paradoxical, and you won't hear it anywhere else. Took us years, decades with hundreds of thousands of people to learn this. Everybody has an inner critic, inner judge, perfectionist, never satisfied, never good enough part of us. Now, what most of the treatment programs I just mentioned and all the treatment programs people find, they try to help you stop being negative, stop being judgmental, stop being a perfectionist, stop. And they give you all kinds of programs. They spend years, even the trainers spend years trying to get rid of their own inner negative, what's wrong, overdoer, try harder, perfectionist. But as I tell people, because we learn this, and I know this is true from the 50 or more countries I've taught and trained in, that inner critic, inner judge, never satisfied, never good enough, perfectionist part of all of us does have a lifetime membership. You couldn't get rid of it with lobotomy. Okay. You can take all the drugs you want, legal, illegal. You can do all the psychedelics you want. You can do all the drinking, all the overeating. It's still going to be there. So part of that expressing of that is to accept it, be aware of it, and release it. Yes, including that inner judge, inner critic. And that allows you, after all those 4 steps are completed, to get to your inner doctor, your inner wise woman, your inner wise man, your innermost entrepreneur, your innermost coach, the deepest, in the moment, real, authentic, with all these wonderful techniques we developed. Think of them as mind, body, heart, and soul training. That yes, then you can get to the resolutions. Then you can get to your best answers. Then you can find freedom. But it's after going through those first 4 steps, not 1 or 2 of them, not 3 of them, not just 1, not just 3, but all of them, to then get to your own best answers. Because this is one of the things I learned traveling. You can go to the smartest people in the world and find and ask, what are the best answers? What should I do? What do you think? You're so brilliant. What will you tell me? And they'll always tell you, the best teachers, the best answers are going to come from inside yourself. Oh my goodness. You mean I traveled everywhere and I've been teaching and I've been going everywhere? You're telling me the best answers, but I don't know. Okay, we'll start with I don't know. And then let's go through these 5 steps together. And guess what? You will find the best answers inside yourself. Now, you've got some inner work to do. Fortunately, it feels right because it is right. Most of the techniques are 2 to 3 minutes each. We've learned how to make them experiential. Again, not telling you what you should do, but actually experiencing the mind-body healing, the self-dialoguing, whether it's with your 10-year-old self or your mother or your father or your 18-year-old self. But we really help people with exact techniques that are just a few minutes. They progress, they're tailored, individualized, and that's the process of people finding their own best answers and really getting that individualizing that they needed all these years, that they will then be able to integrate all these tools into their everyday life. Because you have to be able to sustain success after having success. We know this from all the athletes that we work with. They can have great successes and win world championships, Olympic gold. We have experience with these people. Sustaining success is a whole other project. Same with entrepreneurship, same with making money. We have to have the tools and the skills that work for us individually to be able to integrate these into our daily lives, present, future, because the future will have new challenges. So you're gonna need the tools and skills, and you'll be practicing them on a daily basis. Nice thing is they become automatic and second nature. Just like the old bad habits and the addictions became second nature and automatic. Now this evolution, this progress, this all-inclusive total you, the new approaches, your own new answers will be integrated and become more automatic and second nature in your everyday life. So it's easier to do this than it is to not do this by far. Thank you so much, Martin. And as I mentioned, 5-star rating. You got it from me. I hope you get it from all your viewers and listeners. You deserve it. Your guests are wonderful. Your questions are great. This has been a wonderful experience together. And I want you to know that I prepared a special gift for all of your viewers and listeners. And all they need to do is contact me on LinkedIn, Dr. Alman, or at my website, drbrianalman.com, drbrianalman.com, and reach out. You will get a special gift that I don't usually give to everybody. It's going to include the assessments that I will share with everybody. It'll include a technique, a second gift that everybody will be able to learn from and practice, that they'll be able to individualize to fit themselves. And my business website is TrueSage, TrueSage.com. The reason it's called TrueSage is because I want people to know you are your own true sage. And our job is to facilitate you connecting with your inner doctor, inner wise woman, inner wise man, inner true sage. So TrueSage.com, reach out there, free gift available to you, the assessment, a technique, which I bet you will find amazingly helpful professionally, outer and inner, for you as an individual person. So those are available to you, the assessments. Now you know how to reach me at the website. You can reach me on LinkedIn. I'm available on all social media. I post every day. I put videos every day. And if you include Martin's name, yes, okay, I'll include another special gift. And so my pleasure to share that with your listeners, with your viewers. And I hope everybody feels like after getting all this information and being excited about the potential for integrating all this into your daily life, personally and professionally, then now you'll have resources, you'll have ways of connecting with me, even setting up sessions or trainings or getting the app. The app is on the App Store and Google Play. It's enlighten.me, enlighten.me. Look it up. You can even go to the www.enlighten.me and learn a lot, because I want to share. My mission is that mental health is a right, not a privilege. I want everybody to have access to the techniques, to the assessments, to the solutions, and I hope people will connect and reach out, Martin.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.